This new Biomech started as an idea that I have in mind since quite some time, that is about to mix a geometric pattern, a geometric design with the Biomech. Make it organic, make it coherent, because usually when I look at geometric stuff and stuff like that, I think it looks like tapestry. I mean, many people are doing geometric stuff nowadays, and I like it, but very often I think it's just tapestry, because if you look at that, it looks like someone went online, found some geometric pattern, and then they place it randomly on the body, maybe with some black line or stuff like that, just to divide the different patterns. And I don't like that idea. And sometimes if you put a mandala inside of it, it makes it a little bit more interesting, but still it looks tapestry to me. And I think that geometric patterns, if treated well, would work really, really well with a Biomech. So I'm working on that. But unfortunately, many times I lose focus. And I start with a project and I forget what I'm trying to achieve. So yeah, probably not probably, for sure, I should study more. And when I say study more, I mean take a piece of paper, a pencil, and start exploring potential solutions for what I want to achieve. But when I start to design and make stuff on my computer, I lose focus. I don't know why, but yeah, probably great suggestion that I can give to everybody is if you're looking for something different, just study a lot, collect a lot of references, ideas, and stuff like that. Take a piece of paper, a pencil, and start sketching on a paper different solutions. Then you will find probably your way. But I understand sometimes we as artists, we just design for the pleasure of designing, of doing something new, and it's perfectly understandable and respectable. But anyway, it would be better to have a different approach when you want to create something new. Something that I didn't do here, because of course I'm an artist too, and so I just lose myself in the process. And of course sometimes it's also a way, also this one is a way to achieve something different. Something that I did with this Biomech is something different from all the Biomechs that I did, and it's great to explore new ways of doing things. But yeah, anyway, I went very far away from what I wanted to achieve. So mechanical structure with geometrical stuff. There is something geometric, but it's more about the Biomech. You can see the mechanical, let's call it the metal plates that are in place, are very geometric, very specular. And you can see I'm experimenting with patterns that I just downloaded from internet, something that I found really interesting, not the classical tapestry flat geometric design, because I thought that it could work with this one, of course with a little bit of modifications and so on. But at the end I didn't use those patterns, because anytime that I tried, there was no one that was working as I wanted. Here you can see I'm working with I also created a brush that you probably have seen before, just squares with different opacity, and it looked really interesting. I really liked it, but then I thought, well, you have to tattoo that stuff. How much time it would take, and what would be the final result, the effect. So I just discarded that pattern that I created with the brush that I created in Photoshop. So as you see, I go on without thinking about the geometrical pattern. I lost myself in the design, and it's okay anyway. Also because during the lockdown I was just practicing, and I didn't want to stop designing and create new stuff, and so I was designing just for my pleasure. I didn't apply myself very much, not enough anyway, to reach what I had in mind. I will do something like that later, for sure, when I will feel more motivated to do something like that. But for now, I just lost myself in the process, and it was fun. I liked it, and especially I liked the idea of doing something that's pretty specular. It's symmetrical, but at the same time it flows with the body, with the arm. So I'm pretty happy about this project anyway. I didn't like the color. I think it was too dark, and even if working with purple and red, well, it should be better orange if you want to work with complementary colors, because of course if you use the purple and inside you put the orange, or you could use even the red and the green. Anyway, if you use complementary colors, it helps to perceive the internal part as if it's lightened up by a light. But anyway, that purple was too dark. It reminds me, I don't know, the Transformers, something like that, and I didn't want to create that feeling. It was too much color probably. So I lightened that up later, and you can see that pattern inside is quite cool, but not for this design. It was I was trying to use the contrast between squared shapes and rounded shapes, but I didn't like it. And anyway, it didn't give the idea of something that it was illuminated from inside. It looked more like just a red piece of metal, and so I discarded that idea. Even if during the process you will see I will go there constantly using different patterns, similar but still not exactly what I wanted. But at this stage I was just experimenting, and I was more focused on the external part, those metal plates and so on, not exactly on the inside part. Here you can see I'm creating a new brush to create that effect, that what I was talking before. It's cool, it's a cool effect, but if you have to think that you have to tattoo all those squares and with all those different kinds of color, well, it would take a lot of time, and I'm not really sure about what would happen to those shades of color during time. So I discarded that idea too. What can I say? I was working not in a methodical way. I was just working randomly from a shape to another shape, then another side, looking for something that was pleasing to my eye, but not really studying. As I told you before, if you want to create something great, it would be better to spend a little bit more time on paper, studying what exactly you want, where do you want to go. And it's something that I usually do, but not this time. This time I just wanted to draw and lose myself in the process. and it's good. There's nothing bad about it. And you will see I jump from a side to another side of the design, then I work on the inside, then the outside. It was just for fun, also because there is no client at the moment that asked me for this or something particular, so I was free to do whatever I wanted. Here you can see I try to place something geometric, but it's completely different from my initial idea to have some kind of pattern, geometrical pattern inside. But as you can see, I'm jumping around, just fixing things, change colors, change shapes, working on the reflections and stuff like that, try new pattern. Here you can see I think it's much better, this color, than the dark purple that I was using before. I think it's way better, also because the external part will be, let's say, illuminated by the natural light, so I think it's much better this way than that dark purple. And anyway, it's not even a big problem, because of course if I find a client interested in this work, we can change the color. It's not a problem. We can use the yellow inside and the red outside. We can try many different colors, but here I was just trying to find something that was pleasing to me. And of course you see I also work with 3D with a 3D arm, so I have a clearer idea about how it will look on the body, so I can work accordingly to what will be something real. Of course, it's much better, and it's a great thing to have the chance to work with 3D. And if you want to learn more about that, I suggest you check my tutorial at tattoosmart.com. And here you can see it's something that I do from about 5 or 6 years. I end my tattoo sleeves, the tattoo sleeve that I design, always with a geometrical pattern, because I don't like those shades that goes nowhere. I prefer to close the design with something geometrical that it's more pleasing than just a straight line or a line of shading color that makes no sense to me. So I use that geometrical pattern that I already used in another tattoo sleeve to create that effect. It will be on the wrist, of course. And to give a little bit more texture, I used a few geometrical patterns here and there in the design. Also, this one is a thing that I'm doing lately on my Biomechs, and I think it makes them cooler than a regular one, but still is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to something that mix the geometrical and the Biomech in a more organic way, in a more coherent way, and I will go there. That's my direction, and I'm pretty sure I will find my way. It's just a matter of dedication, hard work, try and error, and if you want to do something, it's just about that. Work. If you do the same thing over and over again, you will find your way to do something. And so yeah, it's just a matter of time, and I will go there. And here, of course, I'm working on the details, on the reflections, on the shadows. I lose myself in this work, and I really enjoy this work. I would love to tattoo this design. It would be great, but of course I can't force. And when you're doing tattoos and you create your own design, especially when you do something like a Biomech, that is the niche of the tattoo industry, well, it's not easy to sell something like this. You have to find someone that really love your project, and it's not so easy. Maybe someone will love it, but not enough. They would like to change it, something different. It's really I think it's harder to sell a new design that you created yourself, a design that is ready, than something that you create from scratch, just on the request of a client that it's already committed to get that design, even if it's not there yet. If you propose something that you already done, probably they perceive that as something that's less original, like you created this just for yourself, not for me. And it doesn't matter if it's ready, if nobody got that design. I think it's something psychological. And you can see at the end, I didn't use a pattern, but I used something structure inside with this red light, and I created from scratch just because I wanted to keep that squared idea that I used on the design. But yeah, I forgot completely the geometrical pattern, and I did something myself, something that I liked. And well, it's a good achievement anyway, because I created something new, something that is not out there, and I think it's quite cool. Those red lights inside and this pattern, yeah, it's something that I really like, and I think it's pretty new. Also because let's be honest, when you look at Biomech, usually all the artists are using the same vocabulary everywhere. Sometimes it's so difficult to distinguish between an artist and another because they are using the same vocabulary. It's like when you look at realism. I enjoy doing realism, black and gray realism, but nowadays there are so many people that are just copying pictures, or well, basically most of them are just copying pictures, are just tracing machine, and at the end of the day you cannot distinguish between them. They are all the same. There's no personality, and the same thing is happening in the Biomech. There are so many people that are using the same vocabulary that is so, it becomes hard to understand who is who did what. So I think for an artist it's paramount to create his own style and do something unique, something that is recognizable, something that you can look at that and think, okay, this design is from that artist and not who did it. So yeah, I think I did well here. I didn't do well in the inside part because it was not bad, but anyway, it wasn't coherent with the old project. The old project was symmetrical, specular, but that mirrored design that was outside, it didn't reflect what was inside. So at some point here, I'm playing with the colors, and well, this colors is horrible. And you can see I'm using an old project because I have a timeline already done. So for the video, the final video, I can use something that I already did, and I just changed the texture, so I don't have to recreate my video every time. If you want to know more, I remind you to check my tutorials on Tattoo Smart, and you will learn how to create videos, 3D videos, as I do. And here the design is pretty much done and I really like it. But this was the last day, but the next day, as I was telling you, the inside part I didn't like. I decided to modify the inside part and make it exactly as it was outside, so something that was mirrored. So I took that part of the design and I modified it because I think it was perfect for that spot. You can see just placing that part changed completely the inside part. I just took that and I redrew a little bit because I didn't want to have the same exact design. I didn't want that kind of repetition. So I redrew using the mirrored design from Photoshop that finally is available. Photoshop came out with that option in 2018, I think. Well, it was basically the end of 2018, and it was already available in Procreate and other software, but not in Photoshop. But I don't like Procreate. It is working on the iPad is cool when you're traveling around, when you don't have time to work, but in my house, in my studio, when I have the time, I prefer a lot more to work in Photoshop and on my Wacom Cintiq 24. It's a different world. It's like working on an A4 piece of paper and on a canvas. It's completely different. You work much better. So I prefer to work on Photoshop. And as you can see, I did just that little piece, new piece of metal for the inside part, and it changes completely the inside part. It's more organic with the old project. I also changed the pattern when there is the wrist, because of course I wanted to look cool on my 3D model, but of course this and other parts will be placed accordingly to the shape of the body of the potential client, because a little bit of adjustments and also freehand design must be done when you place a design like this on the body of a person, because everybody is different, everybody has different shapes and different size of their arm, their body. So of course a little bit of freehand and adjustments must be done. But of course I wanted to make it look cool in my 3D model and for my 3D video. And of course I'm also experimenting a little bit more with this geometric pattern, because that was my initial idea. So yeah, I did a little bit of this and that, and it's completely different for my first idea, but I kind of like it. I think it's a great design, and I think it would be great to see it live on the body of someone, because yeah, I think it's quite original. It's really original, and this is the final result. I hope you enjoy the video. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and see you soon.